Classic Car Show returns to Fairplay.
Hey guys, it's been a minute. Welcome back to the channel. Got a lot on my mind. I just want to kind of talk to you guys about some things happening in the country. I'm out for out for a drive. And today there was a picture of a couple of some soldiers, U.S. soldiers, overseas, and they had a Nazi SS flag behind them. I saw it on Instagram. I don't know if you guys saw it. If you saw it, comment below if you know more about it. It looked to be real. Didn't look like a fake, post. Just got me thinking about this country and what's happening. And then I saw another post about. It was about it was some Asians who set up some sort of organization where they're working to combat racism against blacks, racist attitudes held in the Asian community. Guys, I lived in Asia for years and years. What people see on TV is the impression they have of us, and then what they come here and see is cemented by those impressions. I've mentioned this before, and I'll mention it again. We have an image problem. We have a very, very bad image problem, guys. If you're African American and you're listening to this, we have an image problem. I feel like black people, we don't see what's happening. We see other people's dirt. We see other people's dirt. We see the things that other people do to us. We see how other people behave. We all have our PhDs in racism, spotting racism, and we're pretty good at it. Sometimes we make mistakes and we charge people with racism, but it's really not racism. Sometimes that happens, and it's understandable. We are hypersensitive, but what's sad is that we don't see our flaws. You know, I've mentioned this before in a lot of my videos. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit more information on it. But we don't see our flaws. We have trouble. You know, we're blind to what happens in our community. We see it, but we don't see it. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to see it. We don't want to believe it's there. Like, let me give you an example. And I want to get to Ciara, excuse me, Russell Wilson, Ciara, and Slim Thug. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. I have some comments on that. We there was a rapper who just bought a house for his mother, a young rapper, young man, and I'm happy he did that. It was a really nice thing to do. He brought it to the house, and then he told her that this was hers, and basically she was like, stop playing with me. And he was like, no, this is your house, mom. That's not how he said it. Obviously, there was ebonics. Um, he did a really sweet thing, and he told her he was getting her out the hood. And that's a wonderful thing. Now let me ask you this question. Why is he getting her out of the hood? What's wrong with the hood? What's wrong with the hood? Why is he getting her out? Um, I noticed when I was watching that video, I was thinking about something really important. I realized that if you're black and you're not from the hood and you don't behave the way the hood behaves, and we all know what that is, then people will make fun of you because you're not from the hood. And a lot of you who follow this channel, this has happened to you. They'll make fun of you if you're not from the hood, but then they can't wait to get out of the hood. Mom, I just bought you a house. I told you I was getting you out of the hood. And this is an example of the confused nature. This is just one of many examples that I've spent time and energy making videos to show you what's going on in the black community. Black community is ridiculous. The more I think about it, the more I realize how dysfunctional and ridiculous it is, and how I'm ashamed. I'm really, really ashamed of the black community. A part of what's going on is I don't think it's necessarily all of our fault. I really do believe that there is something called post-traumatic slave syndrome. I do believe that we are suffering from the residual effects of slavery and Jim Crow. I believe some people still have the mindset of the plantation mindset. You can see it. You can see it in the ignorance that people perpetuate and hold on to. You can see it. Things that are leftovers from the plantation era. You can see it when it comes to how people call each other the N-word. No one in their right mind, in their clear thinking mind, would call someone else the N-word and say it's in a loving way. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. And then when someone, it blows my mind till this day. It blows my mind. I just literally can't understand how people will do it. And then they'll fight. They will fight you for the ability to use it on each other. It's incredible. That and, the nature of the ghetto, how if you're not from the ghetto, they might make fun of you, but then they can't wait to get out. It's, which one is it? And there's several other things. I mean, there's so many things going on, and it's sad. It really is sad. I feel so bad. I'm embarrassed because I can, when you're awake, when you're truly woke, as they say, when you're truly woke, you see things for what they are. And there's levels of wokeness. There's levels of awareness. And some black people can really see our true condition. Some black people are stuck in this plantation mentality and they can't see what's happening. I want to talk about Ciara, Russell Wilson, Slim Thug. Slim Thug was on a radio show. I don't listen to his music. I think he's an idiot. He's basically, he's the ghetto prototype, the quintessential ghetto black male. Tough guy, probably a former drug dealer. Look at his name, Slim Thug. Thug. A thug was meant to be something bad. And he knows that, but he chooses that as his name. And then, just like all the other things I just mentioned about being from the hood, but not wanting to be there and everything else, calling each other the N-word, but not wanting to be called the N-word. If this guy who calls himself Slim Thug, if I were to call him a piece of trash thug, in the negative sense, he would get angry. But then his name is Slim Thug. This will just show you how confused and how ridiculous the community is. If he gets pulled over by the cops and beat up for looking like a thug and having the name, being Slim Thug, being a rapper, he'll complain, he'll get on the media and complain that black people are being mistreated. And the thing is you're not an outstanding person in the black community. So Slim Thug called Russell Wilson a square, and Ciara had to come to his defense, and he was saying that Future, how could she go from Future, a hood dude, to Mr. Nice Guy, basically, and how he was a square. And this attitude of a clean-cut person with no criminal record, with no kids born out of wedlock, not a former drug dealer, current drug dealer, this attitude that this isn't cool is what the world can't understand about us. This is what the world doesn't understand. We don't understand right from wrong. We don't understand that our values are twisted. Russell Wilson is a nice guy. He's in shape. He's a professional athlete. He married a beautiful black woman who had a kid. He married her anyway. He's a good guy. It takes a good man to do that kind of thing. He's taking care of that kid as if it was his own. And he's a decent guy. And this street trash, Slim Thug, is criticizing him for being a square. And then he came back and apologized. But Ciara gets it. She said, level up. Hashtag level up. She's leveling up. She's moved. This piece of trash Future got her pregnant. This beautiful black woman, one of the most beautiful black women on the planet. This piece of trash Future gets her pregnant and then leaves her off to the next woman. He had no intention. I mean, a beautiful black woman like that, most guys you think would stay with them. No. This is what a lot of black women don't understand. Hood mentality black men are about building a harem. They're about building a group of women that they can go around and sleep with. I mean, they haven't. I mean, I can't believe black women haven't figured this out yet. I mean, I know some have. Don't get mad at me, okay? I know some have. And I'm glad I'm glad Ciara called this out, because this is crazy. This is basically what's going on. Black men, especially these thug types, these hood types, the ones who consider themselves the alpha males, and they're not. Anyway, this is what the world doesn't understand about us, how we have our values inverted, how we celebrate the thugs, how the women go for the thugs. And this is why there's prejudice against us. And we don't get that. This is one of the things we don't understand. People don't like us because we don't share their same values. It's not because we're black. I've lived overseas. People were super friendly, super nice. But then when they come here and see how violent our communities can be and how we're trying to escape our own communities, it makes sense to them why, it all makes sense. It all makes sense. All I want you to do is think about this. Why do we celebrate this sort of stuff in our communities? We need to change. We need an image change. We need values. We need better values in the black community. We're destroying ourselves. Anyway, common denominator.